Welcome to the Off the Road Again podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
And I'm Matt with Tread Lightly.
And this is our podcast about anything and everything off-road. It's been a long time since we've discussed rally cars. We need to get back on that.
Yep.
But as always, we're socially distanced before it was mandated. Tonight, I'm still in the Midwest. Ross is in the Northeast. And Matt is in Utah?
You are correct.
Woo!
Whereabouts?
Just outside of Salt Lake.
Nice.
I actually looked it up the other day because I was trying to remember where my best friend lives in Salt Lake. And I was like, Matt said he was in Salt Lake. So I started looking at the map and I was like, oh, he's farther north. So I'm not 100% sure where my friend lives. I just know all of the streets in Utah are weird because everything's numbers and directions.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. I'll tell you sometime.
Okay. This is kind of a story-based show, so whatever you...
Yeah, I'll tell you when you're older.
Okay, so do you know what the numbers are for?
No, just blocks.
So here's your Utah note for the day. The blocks are the blocks away from the temple in downtown Salt Lake. So you are X number of blocks south or X number of blocks west from the temple.
From the temple?
North Temple, East Temple, South Temple, and West Temple, and then you're the number of blocks from the temple.
Really?
That actually makes perfect sense.
So does that apply to small town? When I was out in Kanab, they were the same numbers. Is that just from their small temple?
That's correct.
Huh.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Now I understand Utah more.
Yeah. Now I learned something today. Thank you,
Makes
Matt.
a lot of sense. We don't learn much on the show very often, so that was actually really good.
That's
Normally it's just
cool.
fun stories.
Yeah. That's interesting because I remember looking at a map of Salt Lake and going, wow, this is actually really like a grid. Like most cities don't actually do that. It's pretty cool.
Well, once you're west of Ohio, everything's a grid, Ross.
That's okay. Fair.
Until you get to San Francisco. Even San Francisco is pretty grid-like. It's random. But,
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I
Out
think
here,
I'm
it's
generous.
just throw some streets and hope they land.
Yeah. No, you guys are. I remember my East Coast days; they were nuts. And then Florida. So going from Kansas to Florida, where I'm like, oh, I'll just run a street over and go across. No, you'll hit a canal. There's no reason. Not everything has a bridge. It doesn't make. It's not economic sense to put a bridge over every street.
Anyway, hazard it. You'll be fine.
News of the week. There's no automotive news.
There's no automotive news.
Our show could be produced whenever we want because we have no actual news.
I think the only actual news that came out is that the Bronco is delayed, but whatever. We don't talk about Bronco anymore.
I'll kind of timestamp us a little bit. I for work today got to drive out a little bit and go to an event, socially distanced with masks outside. Turns out masks a lot more easy to talk people into when it's 32 degrees with a 25-mile-an-hour wind.
They do help.
Everybody had a mask today. Nobody was dodging that one. But as I drove by our local Ford dealer, there was a Bronco Sport on the lot, and I was kind of like, might have to wander over there and see what that's all about. I don't really want to wander over there and see what it's about. But seeing it in person, I was kind of like, oh. Dude, we nailed it. It is a slightly larger Escape. There's nothing
it's a Land Rover Freelander Escape.
It's exactly, and I actually just saw an image the other day for when Land Rover was developing the Freelander. It was a crazy weird body that they put on top of it. I think I saw it on Reddit. Now, of course, I won't be able to remember.
That's all right. There's no real automotive news this week.
Nope.
So why don't you tell us about your little continuing, never-ending, perpetual Thule fiasco?
Oh, man. Dear Thule, I want your product. I want the 22 cubic foot of extra space to put on the top of my Sequoia. I have had 2 make it to the house. I've ordered 3. 2 have made it to the house. First one, when I got it, it had a 14-inch crack in it. I think I've talked about it on the show before. I'm sure I talked about it on the show before.
It's all fiberglass, right? Or is it just composite?
I think it's an ABS plastic. is what they're all made out of. So first one showed up in a box, and the box was all like mashed and crooked, and I was like, nah, okay, this one's probably going to have some damage in it. And yeah, absolutely, indentation, 14-inch crack. Sent that one back, ordered the second one, right? Just I think I bought the first one off Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
The second one never made it to me. Crashed in transit. Like literally the truck got hit by another truck, and whatever was inside was considered destroyed. It's like, okay. So never even got that one. That was before our Colorado trip over the summer. Third one I ordered through a different company this time, hoping for better customer service. Again, it got here. The box looked better. The box looked perfect, except for in the back. There was this little divot in the middle on the short side of the box. And I was like, that doesn't look that bad. Slide the thing out, and literally there's this little T-shaped, literally 5 inches by 3-inch crack, right, where some impact happened on the box. The inside the box this time, there was actual packing materials though, but the first time it was just a box wrapped around this. Like this
something must have landed on it.
Well, yeah, this had in each corner like pieces of like sealed styrofoam. So the corners were all perfect, but the impact looked like it happened directly in the middle of the two.
Can't win.
Like literally, I was so excited. The box looked so good. It came from this one was with a reputable shipping company. I knew the shipping company. I pulled it out, cracked, immediately called who I ordered it from, and they were like, "Well, we'll replace it." And I was like, "I understand that, but like, how do I get one delivered to me not broken?"
Right. Is there a possibility you can contact somebody and just go pick it up at like a UPS depot?
That's what I want to do. Nobody will let me do that. COVID. I was like, ship it to the store. Shit. I'll pick it up. And they were like, nope. Because
nobody goes in, nobody goes out.
Because they don't. And first of all, when I ordered the first couple of times, Thule would not sell it directly from the website. I could not buy it from Thule, which I just checked the other day. Guess what's now listed on the website? The boxes.
Delivery, yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't they in like Northeast Connecticut? I think they're only like an hour and a half from me.
The shipping label for me from this one came out of Illinois.
Okay, so not Connecticut.
Well, their North American headquarters might be Connecticut, but
I think it is.
This
like
one
the middle of nowhere.
Illinois to Kansas City. And like I had a tracking number. I was able to track it all the way down here. And I even asked the guy who called to set up the delivery, and I was like, "Hey man, is it okay? Like, has it been damaged at all?" And he's like, "Normally if it's been damaged, they write something on here that the box has been damaged." I was like, well, they obviously didn't do it. So made me think literally from the depot here in town to the house, something hit it.
Probably. He turned around after he got off the phone with you, knocked something off the shelf.
Exactly.
He came down on it.
Shit. Not my problem. So I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm going to give it one more shot. If it doesn't work with these guys, I'll try to get as much money back as I can and order it from. I want the 22 cubic feet. Yakima only makes it 21 cubic feet. I've got 4 kids. Like, I want to hide some stuff up there that doesn't have to be in the car.
Cubic foot makes a lot of difference with
that
many things to pack.
So my note that I had underneath the Thule, though, I think that's nixed now because I was counting on the Thule to help with that. So we were maybe going to blast to Colorado for a long weekend, but I don't know. But I'm still on the hunt. Huh?
Rent a trailer.
We'll get back to that in a different show.
Fair enough.
I got that in different show notes. I'm still on the hunt for 18-inch wheels for the Sequoia. I think our idea of doing the Heritage Edition wheels is just never going to work. They are. I may
prohibitively expensive.
I may have procured a way to order them, but allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. The joke, though, is to make the Sequoia look like a Land Cruiser Heritage Edition, right? But with wheels and center caps and TPMS, tire pressure monitoring systems, I'm staring down like close to $3,000 for a joke.
Oh my God. Yeah.
For a joke.
That's a huge number.
Well, and there are people in this world that will spend $3,000 on a joke. I am not financially yet one of those people. So not poor, like I'm not hurting, but like, holy crap, $3,000 is a stout.
What Toyota tends to do, and we all know this, is they like for the TRD wheels, when they launched the first TRD Pro, those wheels were like the hottest, most desirable thing. And now they're on everything. So
I just had a buddy get a 5th gen 4Runner, brand new SR5. And he, during a Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal, got all 4 of them for, I think, $132 a piece.
What?
He got TRD Pro
from
wheels.
Toyota or knockoffs?
They're from Toyota. He
Holy
sent me a
shit.
picture. They've got the right center cap and
Wow.
everything. So
Tell him to send me that link. Actually, it's kind of cliche at this point, but
yeah.
That $3,000 for wheels and tires is hurts my soul.
The 3,000 doesn't include the tires. That's just wheels and tire pressure monitoring and getting them to me.
That's insane. That's insane. That's not worth it because
So, if we have a listener who wants to donate that, there's somebody who wants to see this joke as much as we want to.
Right.
Oh.
Sequoia Heritage Edition.
I think it'd be amazing. Actually, it doesn't say Heritage Edition on the side.
It doesn't. You just got to get Sequoia in the vintage writing.
It says,
stamp it or etch it in metal.
Oh, we would definitely do a vinyl, but it says Toyota Land Cruiser. I think all it says. I'm trying to Google the badge as fast as possible, and of course,
I think it just says Land Cruiser.
It says Toyota, and then there's like a script Land Cruiser. Oh, heck yeah. I love that. I've set large image search only. Look at that. Didn't even have to work for it. Just that's all it says on the side. So like I could say Toyota, and if I could get someone to write script Sequoia underneath it, done. I think that'd be a great joke, but I'm not.
It would be a great joke for the 5 people that would get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, 40 to 60% of those people are currently in this conversation.
And I didn't really, I got involved in a conversation on Twitter today. Kevin, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Macaulay, Houston-based photographer, has done a lot with automotive.
He's done the Porsche stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he owns a gorgeous 911. He got behind a new Tahoe in traffic today and just like snapped a picture of the back of it, and then just started pointing out the weirdest graphic design things ever. And I kind of retweeted it, and I was like, why don't you just buy an old looking Sequoia? Because it's I literally think the Tahoes and the Yukons and the modern Sequoias all look like the same. They look like 2008. And we gave the Sequoia crap for looking like that. Like everybody gave the Sequoia crap. Now it's modern.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Off topic already. I told you.
As we do.
It was not even on the list.
Oh, well, it happens. I have no updates other than we are awaiting a big snowstorm. That is it.
And you're going to use the Miata as a snowplow.
Yeah. No, the Miata is currently parked it's parked in like a corner spot. That corner spot also happens to have a tree over it, which I'm not thrilled about because we're supposed to get like 45 to 50 mile per hour winds. So I might be moving that at some point before I leave for work tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to take the 4Runner since, 4-wheel drive and ground clearance are nice when you're looking at, it's not supposed to be that bad tomorrow. By the time I leave work, we'll probably only have like 2 inches or so, but we'll have a possibility of 18 to 20. So
like overnight into Friday.
Yeah. Like 7:00 tomorrow night through, I think, lunchtime on Thursday. They're saying, severe storm. So,
is it a nor'easter?
It is a nor'easter.
Oh, okay.
And you guys know the tropes. I'll believe it when I see it. I studied meteorology, like I get it, but I still have so little doubt.
Out here, when they predict a half inch, you expect more, and when they say 6 to 8, you're like, okay, it's not going to snow at all. Thanks, buddy.
Right. Last year they predicted a couple storms in the 6 to 8, and I think we had a total snowfall last year of under 4 inches, complete for the full year, all winter.
So that was the only time you took the Miata out on the snow tires to take pictures in the snow?
I drove it in every snowstorm we got last year, which was 2.
As one does.
It's pretty kick-ass in the snow, not gonna lie. It's like, it's light. It just skirts over everything. It doesn't care,
See, it's fantastic.
Versus Yeah, it's great. It's going to do a great job of sitting in the corner of the parking lot tomorrow, not moving. So, yeah, I have no. I think we talked about the Forerunner's little belt fiasco last week, right?
We did.
Okay. Yeah. Other than that,
Oh.
nothing to report. I think I'm going to put the head unit in it this weekend if I gather the motivation. What?
It's 3 shows in a row you've been talking about this head unit. It's not in the truck
Yeah.
yet.
I know. You know what's involved in doing this thing? So it's not just
No.
the head unit because, so Matt, just to fill you in, I bought Chris's old Forerunner, and it has the factory rear view camera. But if you replace the head unit, you have to replace the backup camera. In order to do that, there's no adapter. There's nothing that allows you to retain the factory camera.
So you have to actually uninstall the factory backup camera to put a new one in?
You can leave it there so that it comes with the little license plate bracket camera, which, in turn means running wires through the tailgate, up the harness, out of the tailgate, into the body of the truck, over the headliner, down the headliner, along the floor, all the way up to the center console, through the center console to the back of the head unit, which is going to be fun.
No, that's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Not a weekend run.
Yeah. I mean, my wife is going, or she went to work last Saturday, and I was like, yeah, I think if I start when you leave, I could be done by the time you get home. She was like, no, I know how this goes.
Automotive projects that look like they're going to take any amount of time are always 4 times longer than.
She's like, you remember all those other things that you've done that you said were going to take 2 hours, and then 8 hours later you were still there? Like, oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it on the Connecticut news front.
There's a meme of some poor guy like, this will be an hour. 8 hours later.
Literally.
And I can't find the meme right now. Come on.
Literally. That's like, it goes for everything you do. It's,
When it's of course it's a guy under a giant leaf spring. It's the meme I always think of every time. So take an hour, 8 hours later.
Yeah, right.
Because there's always one bolt that never. Oh.
And that's how the 20-minute belt job turned into a 2-hour belt job.
Yeah. It's every automotive story, I think, of working on a vehicle is that way.
Or running a trail.
Yeah. So, Matt, we brought you on the show. What do you want to talk about?
Well, this, that, little off-road.
So many things.
So many things. So first and foremost, tread lightly.
Let's start with the important stuff.
It's a pretty well-known name, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, and I think for a lot of people, and honestly, it was for me when I got the phone call back in February, it was, okay, I've heard of that, but what does it do?
Right.
I get the idea, but what do they do?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been really cool now to be on the team since October and, watch the team and what they do and how they operate and the impact they're having. So, so far, pretty awesome experience.
So,
you go, Russ.
Oh, you.
I was just saying, it's not just for vehicles. That's the thing that I know I've done many of these things, but I didn't know that Tread Lightly focused on all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that the kind of link that links all of those things together, and we have this conversation a lot. Whether you're hunting, hiking, fishing, pick the ing that you're doing. We got there somehow. Usually with some type of motorized vehicle, and while our focus is obviously motorized recreation, that can span across a lot of things. I think the other thing that a lot of people don't know about us is we do stuff on water as well. In fact, the old logo said land and water. A lot of our lakes and stuff in the U.S. are public land. A lot of them are controlled by the Army Corps, so they fall into that segment as well.
So, I mean, Tread Lightly is, in the off-road world, it's a pretty household name, right, as far as specific automotive brands go. Once you step outside that, tread lightly it's a known, you see it at off-road parks, you see it on the internet. For the people who don't know, can you just give a quick description of what tread lightly is, does?
Yeah, sure. So, really our focus and our mission is to keep trails on public lands open and accessible for all types of motorized recreation. That's the 10-second elevator speech.
The elevator pitch, yeah.
Some people are always like, so how do you do that? Really, there's kind of three main ways to do it. One is education. We create a lot of educational materials that are used all over the country. Number two is communication. I have an ad agency background, and honestly, we kind of serve as an ad agency sometimes for the federal agencies like the National Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management, et cetera. They use us as kind of their communication and ad agency. So like you said, a lot of those kiosks you see on trailheads and the information and placards that you see, we've created a lot of them. And then really the last piece is stewardship. And, stewardship takes on a lot of forms. It's restoration projects, it's repairs on trails, et cetera. But all of those three things really have to work together to keep those two key words happening, which is open and accessible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how did you, what's your background and how did you get into this?
A background, kind of been in the off-road world for about 20 years now, with a small break in there for a little bit. Started working at Michelin and BFGoodrich back in Greenville in early 2000, and spent 4 years there, and then made the jump from Michelin and BFG to Jackson Marketing, Motorsports and Events, who happens to be the event marketing and motorsports agency for BFGoodrich, as well as Michelin. So played on both the dirt and the pavement side of things with Jackson.
Okay.
And
didn't realize that.
left Jackson in 2015, and through some connections and stuff, ended up in Utah. And most recently was with the in-house ad agency at the Larry H. Miller Group. Larry H. Miller is the number 7 dealership group in the country, 65 stores in 7 states, with about almost every OEM brand. Departed there the end of summer, and came on with Tread Lightly. The Tread Lightly opportunity came through an old client at BFG.
Okay.
In a call, and
it's all about who you know.
That's yeah, for sure. And I'm very glad that call was made, because it's been pretty awesome. I mean, you guys know the off-road community is a pretty tight-knit family.
Yep. And
5 years away from it was pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Although it was nice to go to a couple of events in those 5 years and just go to the events and be a spectator and not be working the events.
I understand that.
We got to do the Mid 400 back in 2018. And then my wife also worked at Jackson with me, and she had been involved in a ton of events, but had never gotten to go. So in November of 2018, we made the trek across the border, and she got to see her first Baja 1000. So
nice.
She was enjoying that and had a great time.
Everything she hoped for.
Absolutely. Yeah, she had a really great time. I think, she had heard me talk enough about the magic of Baja. And after being there, you definitely get it and understand
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to go.
Same.
Let's go.
Someday.
If I had a way to do it tomorrow, I'd be down there. First of all, it's drastically warmer in Mexico right now than it is here. But even like the Class 11 Beetles to me are amazing machines.
I think we got our weekly freeze.
Oh, damn it.
Chris is frozen.
Yep, Matt, this happens every week.
I'm here the whole time. Never go anywhere. To the listener,
We know.
thank you for hanging in. They can hear everything the
Without
whole
fail.
time because it's my
It's great.
recording that gets posted. I'm the only one who freezes. Anyway, so that was a Macmillan. I don't know how much of that stayed. That's for the video watchers.
Yep. So Baja. So you've obviously dabbled in the high speed stuff. How about crawling? What's your off road niche of choice?
My off-road niche of choice is anything that has four wheels, but
Touche. I like that.
And you know, I have time pavement and off-road, but by far prefer off-road. You know, honestly, for me in Utah, we're Polaris Razor owners.
Okay.
The access and availability to where you can ride in Utah on a side-by-side is pretty amazing.
What razor do you have?
I have a 1000 XP.
Oh shit. Okay, nice. My dad has a 1000S.
Yeah, did not do the turbo because we like to ride in the desert quite a bit and
Heat
didn't want
management.
to be, sucking dust the whole time. So and even without the turbo, it's plenty fast. So
they're not slow. I don't know about yours. You have the shocks that go up through the body. 2-4?
2 seats or 4 seats?
Oh, two. Okay, so you have the shocks in the back that go up through the bed and now like on the pseudo roll cage.
Yeah.
Okay. Does yours do the same thing my dad's does, which if you're at a full stop and you just brake stand it and plant your right foot, the front tires kind of do like a light tap?
I've never noticed that on mine.
Before he put the shocks on his, if you were on pavement and you just did like a hard launch, it would like squat so much that the front tires would go bloop and pop right up.
Nice.
Yeah, Razors are great.
Yeah.
Is that your machine or is that a?
That's Google search, so I doubt
that's
it's
Google
Matt's.
search. Okay. Yeah. How'd you get into Razors? Because the jump from, say, Jeeps to side by sides is something that a lot of people do.
You know, I mean, we were joking about it earlier. For me was I wanted something that was new so I didn't have to screw with it. And, you know, there's that thing that, you know, you only have so much in your wallet. So, you know, you make the decision of what works. But, you know, side by side out here in Utah, again, the trails are just conducive to it. You know, obviously you can do the Jeep and there's plenty of places to go as well. But, you know, we've, my wife and I have pretty much ridden everywhere from Vegas to Yellowstone.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of places in between. So there's just she said it best, you know, the way I sold her on it was she said, if we get the side by side, does that mean we stop hiking? Absolutely. So
you can do both. You manage both on a trip.
So yeah, it was an easy sale when I told her the hiking stopped if we got the side by side. But
nice.
No, I think with the side by side, there's just places that's the other than hiking, that's the only way to get there. And, there's a really great trail system to the west of Bryce Canyon National Park. And, you know, one day we're out there riding and she and I are up on the top of this hill at like, you know, 10,000 feet eating lunch. And it's like, this is pretty amazing. Not many things that could get you up here as fast as we got up here. So
right, that's the thing. Like you can get most of those places in a Jeep or, you know, any other real 4x4. You can move at a speed in side by sides that isn't attainable in a full size. I mean, my dad and my brother are both on side by sides. We've done thousands of miles on the trips. I ride a quad, you know, just a Polaris Scrambler, but side by sides are pretty amazing.
They are, absolutely.
What do you tow it with?
I have a Ford Ranger that I absolutely love.
New Ranger or a
new Ranger?
Nice.
Yeah, it's been great when you've got 7,500 pounds of towing capacity in that size vehicle is not bad. And
that's strong.
23, 24 miles per gallon.
That's not a bad combo.
I'll take that all day long.
And turbo's nice for the elevation where you are too, I bet.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Is it an
Chris is sharing
FX4?
screen.
It is.
Is it
Look
orange?
at it.
No, mine is the lovely Ford metallic blue.
Oh, that's a good blue,
It
actually.
is a good blue. I have to drive one. I've driven all of the other midsize trucks and still have barely sat in a Ranger, like at New York Auto Show 3 years ago.
That's the one truck that when out in Utah, we would see them, and even my dad was kind of like, "What truck is that?" Like that piqued his interest. Where everything else is kind of all right. That's too big. That's too big. Like a Ranger's a decent size. I think they're almost the same size as like a Tacoma, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah,
They're all
size.
roughly within a couple inches.
Yeah, it's only an inch wider. An inch taller. So yeah, the appropriate size pickup truck.
Right. Yeah.
Everything else is too big.
What once used to be full size is now mid-size. So let's go back to Tread Lightly, because I mean, I remember Tread Lightly from growing up in the off-road world. So 30 years is crazy. What's the story? How did it really come to be? And like, I mean, I just always knew it as this kind of against the grain mentality for people, because back in the 90s, I mean, off-roading was like, it was a rebellious thing, and people drank beer and threw beer cans and tore shit up. So just curious how it came to be and how 30 years happened, other than, time, which isn't really a thing anymore.
You're going to challenge me on here what I've learned in 75 days. So
Put you to the test.
Here goes. Actually, Tread Lightly was originally started by the Forestry Service. And it was kind of started to address some of the stuff that you talked about. Eventually, after a period of time, I believe it was about 5 years, they broke off and moved into the nonprofit world. And, even now we continue to work heavily, with the Forestry Service, with the Bureau of Land Management, with a lot of the state, and local agencies like, Fish and Game, and DNR, et cetera. But that's really where the start came from. And we still have, a lot of advisors on our advisory board that are with those main agencies, and, it's really been great, in pushing what we do at their level. And I think one thing I'll mention here, because I know when Chris and I talked, I think some people get surprised. There's so many organizations like ours that are focused on lobbying, and that's a piece we're out of. When we've got the relationships that we have, with BLM and the Forestry Service, that's something that we don't get involved of. There's plenty of other agencies out there that do that. But that's not something that we're involved in. Like I said, the education, the communication, the stewardship piece, those are kind of the pillars for us and what we've done. Mm-hmm. I think, 30 years, I think there's been a lot of a transition in that 30 years of, like I said, whether it's just real strict off-roading, to all of a sudden we've gone into the hunting, fishing, camping, hiking piece. And I think that comes from, if you're an outdoors person, you see all of those things and how they impact the trail systems. Right. It doesn't really matter where you are. I grew up in the Northeast, and have seen impacts there, lived in South Carolina before moving out here. But, I think the key thing for me with Tread Lightly is the tread principles and the educational ethic piece. It works everywhere, and it doesn't really work. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It just works.
Right.
And
it's pretty universal. The MO that's being put out by Tread Lightly.
Exactly. And now it's interesting to watch, you referenced it, ATV community. Look at the ATV world, how the ATV world's changed. Would anybody have dreamed, even 5 years ago that we'd have side-by-sides with the horsepower that we have now? We've got
Trophy trucks
side-by-sides that have more horsepower than quite a few of the Jeeps that are probably out on the trails right now.
Not even a question.
Those 4-cylinder YJs are not keeping up with the side-by-sides.
Exactly. So, I think there's a lot of really great things that Tread Lightly has made happen and had impact on. And, I think one of the things that's really challenging when you're a nationwide organization like we are, and like you said, I think everybody kind of knows the name and knows what's happening. The thing that probably most people don't know, we're a team of 8.
8?
Really?
8. So
it doesn't project like that.
Yeah, we've got 8 people that are doing really great work and making all of the noise that you see related.
Wow, that's amazing.
So really great group. Honestly, I'm like the major newbie of the group. Everybody else has been there like 3 or 4 years or longer. So, we've got several that have been there for quite a while. So, it's pretty awesome. I started on on October 1st, and walked into 3 days later into the annual board meeting. It's kind of like being on the job 3 days, and then you have this massive meeting with all 15 of your bosses.
Thrown into the fire.
Yeah. But one of the cool things that I think that allowed me to do was, hear the team talk about everything they'd accomplished in the last year. And for me, that was really great. Now, the secondary piece to that was after the meeting, I told the team, I said, look, when I got the call about this position back in February, I started like watching everything. I was watching the website, I was watching social media and see what's going on. And it's like, guys, I haven't heard like all of this great work that you're doing. Like, where has this been? And they're like, we're just so busy, we don't have the chance to tell anybody about it.
Oh no.
So we've gone to work on a lot of that. We've made some changes on the website. We've changed some stuff up on social media. But really the word that we've been hitting on as a team is storytelling. We've just got to tell the story of what we're doing. And there's a lot of really great work going on. And that storytelling is what's going to bring additional partners on board, additional members on board, all of those things that are key for us getting our message out there.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that Chris wanted to talk about in terms of getting a message out there, segue, is drone education and the new campaign that has launched, which also double entendre on the drone
launched.
Well
I'm
done. So proud of myself.
Hey, so I actually work at part of my day job. I do drone photography. So when you run into drone campaigns, like I never even thought to think of this one from the, oh man, is it the Forestry Service that had the, if you fly, we can't.
Right. Yeah. Again, really interesting piece here, just so some people that might not know have clarity. We kind of have, 3 revenue streams that keep us functioning. We have memberships, which are, really key. We have partnerships from, industry partners.
Yep.
But then we have our grants and agreements, that come from all of these agencies. And this is one of those great examples where we're kind of that ad agency that the Forestry Service reached out to and said, here's the problem we have. Can you come up with some messaging to, help us address that? And, that was a grant-based program. And, the team went to work on that. And we have a guy on our staff that's our videographer / web guy / designer. In a nonprofit, you have to wear 10 hats, and he does a great job doing that. But it's something he's passionate about, and he came up with a lot of the messaging for these campaigns. And growing up, having lived in South Carolina for 20 years, the wildfire forest fire thing, I think we had one up in the Great Smoky Mountains at one point. You don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But the first time you walk out of your door in Utah in July and you can't breathe because you're choking on smoke. It kind of has an impact on you of what's going on. And it's a big deal. And it's interesting. Like I said, we deal with all types of motorized recreation, and even something like drones, it crosses into that. But again, it's key for a responsibility standpoint, a safety standpoint, and everything that we're trying to do from a recreation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's never would have thought of that, frankly. Travels with drones because of work. I don't.
And for any hobbyists
makes
out
all
there,
the sense in the world.
Almost all national parks you're not allowed to fly in. So Forestry Service is a little different for you at U.S. Forestry Service, but just don't.
just don't. Yeah,
just don't. Like, as much as I want, like today, we had an event today. Well, I checked the vector map before I left. Nope, we're in a landing pattern. We're not flying at that one, which I had a pretty good idea we were in the landing pattern anyway, but I made sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, when you hear on the news out here that they had to ground, helicopters or planes or whatever that are trying to fight, wildfires out here because of people flying drones.
Right, because somebody wanted something for their Instagram.
It happened.
Like grand scheme of things.
You can be cited for that. If you post that up, like, people think when they post it on their social media, like, there's no way to track them down. Like, no, it's the government. They can find you.
Very traceable.
People aren't very bright.
No. I do want to ask, where in the Northeast were you?
So I grew up 5 years in Shelburne, Vermont.
Okay.
And then on the North Shore of Boston, a little town called Georgetown.
I'm laughing because isn't there a Georgetown in every state?
Probably. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
I think Georgetown University is the one people think of most. That's DC.
Yeah.
I think Camille, one of our Hooniverse co-writers, is in Georgetown or thereabouts, like right over. There's a bridge that connects like Georgetown to another part of Boston. And
so you've got Georgetown is like up towards the border, so you're not too far from the New Hampshire border. Georgetown, Groveland, and Haverhill, Mass. But yeah, that's where I grew up.
Okay.
A lot of people know it too, like Ipswich. People tend to have heard of Ipswich or the lovely city of Gloucester, if you're a New Englander.
Sorry, I looked it up. There are 5 Georgetowns in the state of Indiana.
That's awesome.
But that's not the only state with multiple Georgetowns. Now, it might be getting specific to neighborhoods and not just cities, but holy crap, there are a lot of Georgetowns.
Awesome.
We don't need any more.
Kansas didn't make the list. There is Georgetown, Connecticut.
I'm over Connecticut right now. It's cold.
It's going to be under snow. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Don't ask you that on Friday morning.
Exactly, man.
All right, I want to talk about Baja more.
Yes, please.
Let's talk about someplace warm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sand rather than snow.
Yeah, when you think about all of the years, how many times have you had to work down in Baja?
Wow, great question. I'm guessing it's probably been, the first time was probably 2004, 2005. So I've been down there probably 10, 12 times total.
Oh my God. Can you hear my jealousy from 2,000 miles away?
Yeah, it's honestly, I tell my wife this all the time. It's like one of my favorite places on earth. It's pretty awesome. And if you've seen either of the movies with Dust to Glory,
I was to say, like, that's 2005, isn't it? Like,
that was 2005.
Yeah.
Several times about, once you're here, there's just this something that draws you in, and it's so true. It is. There's just something about it that really draws you in.
I think that's why my wife has been hesitant to let me go, because I don't think I'd ever come back.
That discussion's been had in our household.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not going to say that.
There's
Keep going,
something
please.
about Ensenada, like it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's great place, and again, been for a bunch of different things. At Jackson with
Chris, your audio just did all sorts of fun stuff.
I'm sorry. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. I will try to cut that out.
Wouldn't worry about it. That's pretty funny.
with Jackson, it was fun to be able to go down there for races. We also did product launch for BFG down there when we launched the new KO. What better place to do it than down there, which was really kind of the birthplace.
Baja proven. We all know it.
There you go. From the beginning. And again, what we did down there was so varied from pits for the race, which everybody kind of sees, but we also were frequently hosting guests for BFG from all over the world.
Press drives
from the UK and from the mainland Mexico, because of what you said. I mean, the only thing that rivals it in my mind is the car. But besides that, it's like, what's bigger than Baja in the off-road world, and give people the chance to experience that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, probably nothing. Those two races, and then, I mean, for the hardcore, it's King of the Hammers. Other than that, that's it.
Mint 400. He said it
And,
earlier.
and Mint, Mint as of late.
I'm a little deeper into that, I think, than most people, though.
Certainly true.
So now I think we definitely touched on this last time. So if I buy race tires, you guys service my truck.
Yeah. So, one of the programs, and, I know you guys are going to have a conversation with Frank D'Angelo in the not too distant future. Frank and I worked together on the BFG brand for quite a few years. And, the program that's been in existence with BFG forever is, buy our tires and take advantage of the pit support in Baja. And, when you're a low budget race team and you decide to go down there with as few as I've heard 4 of your buddies and decide to run, a 900,000 mile race across the peninsula, it's nice to have a pit out in the middle of the desert somewhere that you can pull into if you need to.
That. Yeah.
Awesome program that BFG has, and really for the grassroots guys that are down there, it's what makes it possible for them. That they have that opportunity. And, everybody asks, like, what are those pits and what do those pits look like? So, a tractor trailer in the desert can be an oasis when you've got a problem with your vehicle. But those guys on those trucks, there's usually a team of about 20. The other thing that's crazy about it is almost all of them are volunteers. That
in-house volunteers.
That they are volunteers from all over the country, and they take the opportunity to take it. A lot of times they take their vacation, to come work Baja.
Wow, that's hardcore. Yeah, it's diehard.
Yeah. You've got everything from somebody that can weld, somebody that can fab, somebody that can cook for the team that's out there in the middle of the desert for a couple days, the paramedic, the pit boss that's running everything, and even something as crazy as radio communication via sat on the trucks. Right. There's a really interesting piece that not a lot of people know. There's the weatherman radio relay that everybody's fairly familiar with.
That's now his son, right?
Correct. Yep. Exactly. But BFG also has their own radio relay, and all the trucks have sat and the ability to talk. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that BFG does is keep track of timing and scoring, not so much from a, who's leading per se, but who is registered with the pit and where are they and when are they going to be there, keep the pit open or not.
Right. When to be ready, when to.
So usually on the
somebody's coming.
tailgate of the tractor trailer, there's somebody that their responsibility is to get the race vehicle number when it goes by and, keep the time of when that went by. About, I guess 10 years ago now, we made the transition, and the people that were keeping track of that were actually in Greenville, South Carolina, keeping track of all of the race numbers and timing that was happening on the Baja Peninsula. So
that's wild.
It's pretty wild.
Technology's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes.
And it's all the things that go into that race that people don't think about. Making sure that if a race vehicle has made their checkpoint and they've continued on, to make sure that the pit's open and they've got fuel ready when they get there. So it's quite the undertaking, and but awesome to be a part of a program like that really helps that grassroots guy make the race possible.
Yeah, that sounds like a must do at some point.
Yeah,
we just need to time it out together.
Exactly. I mean, there's always next year. So Matt, Chris wrote one of the questions in our show notes, and I was looking at it and I can't not ask, what are your absolute avoid, never ever do's for Baja, for the experience, whether it's food or places to go?
It's an easy answer. And I was, my buddy Frank taught me this the first time I went down there, and it's the rule to live by. You do not eat tacos from anything that's on wheels.
Okay.
The standing taco stands, on the corner in a building, you're good. But if that taco stand has wheels, you need to keep on driving.
Okay. I'm guessing that was learned. Yep.
The best piece of Baja advice ever.
So no tacos from anything on wheels.
Noted.
Check.
Honestly, food on an off-road trip is like the last thing that crosses my mind. Like you mentioned that there's people who volunteer to chase the trucks and cook and prepare meals for all the other people. That never would have occurred to me.
Well, the interesting piece with that too is when you've got, there's one of the pits right there.
Yeah.
When you're worried about feeding your crew at the tractor trailer, that's one thing. But when you're bringing like 30 guests from the UK to a pit and you've got to feed those 30 guests too, that's when it gets really fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Don't bring them to the mobile taco stand.
No. And when the truck's like, race mile 65 and you're an hour from Ensenada, there's not a whole lot of options other than the truck.
When it only gets farther away.
Yeah, that guy knows.
Exactly.
You told a story about guests from the UK to me last time we talked.
Yeah. Again, one of the crazy things is just the things that you get to experience during the race. Ross, I was telling Chris, so we had these guests with us from the UK. They were a couple guys that work at an off-road shop in the UK. And, first of all, they're giddy, like no tomorrow because they're at the Baja 1000.
Exactly. It's the mecca of off-road.
We've got them out at the pit and, they're having a great time watching the race vehicles. And I said to them, hey, you want to jump in the van and we'll like shoot down the race course a little bit? They're like, oh yeah, this would be great. So we hop in the van and we're down like right on one of the high speed corners prior to the pit. And you can see pretty far down the race course and it's awesome. And all of a sudden here comes, chase truck, pulls up and this guy's like scurrying to get out of the chase truck. And he's like, hey, you guys. And he's like waving us over. Hey, my car's coming in, our race vehicle's coming in, and we need to pit this car. And it's like this guy. And he's like, I need you guys to help. And so
Random dude.
the guys from the UK are like looking at me, and I'm like, go for it, man.
It's up to you
So
guys.
the guy's like giving the one guy a fuel container, and he's like, all right, when the vehicle comes up, you need to like fuel the car.
Just
And
this
this guy's
random dude
like,
who's like standing
are
there.
you like serious? And the guy's like, no, we have to like make this happen. Like the guy's coming.
Oh my god!
And he's like, there's no time to really discuss this and argue it.
You're part of this now, whether you like it or not.
Here comes the car. Guy does his deal. He gets to fuel the car. I don't think I could have done anything to get the smile off that guy's face the rest of the time he was, was down there. And it was funny because he kept, now you have like this tie to that team, and he's wanting, when we're back at the starting line, he's like, hey, where's race number whatever? Are they still on the course? Are they still moving? And that's Baja. I mean, in its simplest form, from a vehicle that goes over early in the race and the fans push it back over so it keeps going.
Yeah.
Or, somebody having to pit the car for you. That's just a pretty awesome.
That's wild. It sounds unlike anything else.
It is. It really is.
Everybody says is the case. So
yeah, you got to make the trip
someday.
Yeah, there you go. There's that looks like pit exchange maybe. So
all of the
happens before the race. So all of your race teams are dropping off tires, parts, fuel cans, and it's all tracked of, the tape is so race number on there. They know which vehicle it goes to. Race vehicle can call in and say, hey, we're coming in. We need fuel. We need tires. Can you check the front suspension, et cetera? And, that's what the crew's there to do and make sure the car gets back on its way.
The gas cans in that picture remind me of like pictures I've seen of Needles National Park.
There's a lot there.
Also need to see.
It's all on the list.
That's pretty cool. That's very, very cool.
We just need to get through this so we can start traveling again.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely.
There's an aerial shot. Somebody running a helicopter.
Oh, look at there's that's the Lovels.
That's their truck.
Yeah. Brad's one of those guys that's done everything from Ultra 4 and King of the Hammers, and now he's in a Spec Trophy truck.
Nice.
He's also been on the BFG team that's won their class in the Baja Challenge class.
Sweet.
At several Baja 1000s. Colorado guy, Springs guy, great guy.
Colorado Springs, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Man.
Very cool.
I got way deep in the Instagram feed. I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted by stuff.
That's okay.
Like, this is a cool shot. I have no idea. Like, just a buggy in the air with, like, people reaching out. Like, it's in the air, guys. That's uncontrolled. Like,
yeah. The other thing that's really interesting, I was looking at the race schedule for next year. A loop race, start and finish in Ensenada, that's not terrible. You're normally talking like 5 pits, 6 pits. If you get lucky, there's like an overlap where you can, service race mile 200 and 600 with the same pit crew.
Yeah.
But, you get into these point-to-point races where we're going from Ensenada to La Paz, or, one of the first 1,000 I went to was an Ensenada all the way to Cabo. And then you're starting to talk about, 10 and 12 pits.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
There's a lot of coordination to happen, and we forget it's not quite as easy to get down the peninsula in a tractor trailer as it is to get across the U.S. in a tractor.
I've seen pictures of some roads that are just washed out. It's like tractor trailer needs to get from spot to spot, and the road just disappears.
Yeah,
just falls off.
Yeah, seen it, been there, done that.
Sounds fun.
It sounds like a much more entertaining day at work than some of us have had.
Oh, okay. Fair. Very
It's a
True.
solid story coming out of that. Like, what'd you do
Yeah.
at work today? Well,
Right.
you know this giant semi that we see on all of the interstates having no issues?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
took it.
Between the roads disappearing and the federale checkpoints, it's a good reminder that you're in a different place sometimes.
Jesus.
Golly.
Oh man, that's a phrase I don't think I've heard.
Yeah.
Certainly not on this show.
No, we haven't talked a lot about federales.
No.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Matt, thank you for coming on. That was fun.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can cross paths at Baja.
Baja or just out in Utah.
That too.
Yeah. Come ride. I think we've got obviously we've got some of the best places like Moab and Sand Hollow and stuff, but we've got those out of the way places too that not a lot of people know about. Everybody knows knows Utah for the awesome natural arches. It's pretty cool when you can take your side by side and just ride right up to the natural arch out in the San Rafael swell. So
yeah,
that sounds pretty fantastic.
We discussed a section of trail that we will avoid discussing here on the show, but we can definitely submit to Ross later. Sorry, listeners.
Okay. Yeah, Chris and I both had Utah trips canceled this year, so
yes, we did.
hopefully next year. Hopefully we can make it out and do some wheeling.
Make it happen, and we will come and join you.
Sounds like a plan.
I just got to get out there in something smaller than the Sequoia because it was great. It was a great vehicle to get to Utah, but once I was out there, some things got pretty narrow.
Yeah.
We'll grab something. I think Honda's got some Talons we might be able to borrow. Right, Jeff?
What's up, Honda?
Aging Jeff Clocker.
Yeah.
He'll go with us too, probably.
What are you talking about? He'll just go. He'll leave us behind.
Okay, yeah, probably. That's actually the case.
Like Top Gear made it a stereotype of all automotive shows. Is, one breaks down, you just go. Like,
oh, you can't. You're stuck. Yep. Okay. Bye.
Jeff is a great guy for allowing us to do this stuff under his website, but
seriously,
if Honda's giving him talents, he's not taking us.
Someday.
And I completely understand him for doing that.
Right. Good opportunity. You jump on it.
Exactly. So you can, I am going to make a request of the listener to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to our podcast at. We have ratings and they're all favorable.
Perfect timing. Chris is frozen again.
Oh man. Again? Am I back?
You're back.
Okay.
Sort of. Yeah, you're back.
So I've got to cut that out again. So I'm going to do it again. Please rate and review us on iTunes. We have a number of ratings and they're all positive. So I know we haven't made big time yet because nobody hates us. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Or maybe somebody will hate us and then that's how we go big time.
Exactly. Bless you.
Tight.
You got a Gazoon high from Ross too. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. Remember to hit the notification thing. If you prefer the video version, we've been picking up subscribers, which has been kind of neat. Tread Lightly on Instagram is at Tread Lightly Team. I think you're definitely on Facebook too. I didn't dig too far down the social media rabbit hole just because social media.
Yeah, we are on kind of all of the above, and check us out on the website too. A lot of really cool stuff on there. If you're so inclined, check out our membership. There's some pretty good member benefits on there. But big thing is it just jumps you on board with this the journey and the mission that we're trying to accomplish. So,
and I think.
Nope, you go.
I was just going to say that I know some manufacturers offer discounts on new vehicles if you have a Tread Lightly membership.
Yeah, there is. FCA brand offers really great affiliate program discounts if you have been a Tread Lightly member for 30 days. So
yeah, the Jeep guys like that, and
yeah, pretty good.
women, Jeepers. I know.
Have we talked about?
I don't think I've ever said that word before.
Have we talked about ducking yet on the show? Not when your iPhone autocorrects the F word.
No, I don't think so. I don't know what you're alluding to. And
When they launched the
loosely
392 concept, the president was talking about people are leaving rubber ducks on Jeeps now with little messages written on them, like "Have a nice day," but it was somebody in Canada started it because they waved at another Jeeper and the other person got super like aggressive with them or something about it, or somebody else yelled at them at their Jeep, and so they're like, all right, I'm going to start leaving nice. And so people now leave rubber ducks in Jeeps.
Nice gesture.
I had a pickup truck and everybody just threw trash in the bed.
Yeah.
I assume that's like the same thing.
Close.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up. You can read some of our stuff on Hooniverse.com. That's the Hooniverse on Twitter, the real Hooniverse on Instagram. I definitely wrote a post about the Saturday Night Live December to Remember parody commercial from last weekend.
Very, very well done.
I have had issues with automotive holiday commercials for years, mainly because, again, I'm not the guy who can spend $3,000 on a joke. I'm also not the guy who's randomly going to buy a Lexus and not tell my spouse until Christmas Day. Anyway, I struggle with those.
That would be a December to remember.
It would be, as I got
December
divorced.
to forget. Yeah.
And stuck with a car payment for
8 years.
5 years, 6 years.
96 months.
Oh, did we talk about trailer financing last week?
Very briefly, I think 20 years.
Matt, I've been just diving into travel trailers lately. I'm completely addicted to looking at travel trailer floor plans. You can finance a travel trailer for 240 months, 20 years.
I cannot confirm or deny if that maybe has been done.
20 years. I was like, what's like, I need to look up statistically, like how long does a trailer last? Because
right. I thought it was bad when people are financing like Ferraris and Lamborghinis for like 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
There's, like 96 months or something.
Well, at least a modern Ferrari will last that long if you drive it at like 4 5 8s. We're lasting really high mileage. Like
it won't depreciate. You'll make your money back. Travel trailer. Okay. Now it's
even the cutoff is about 50 grand and above, but you were spot on.
Yeah.
240 months.
200. Like it cracked. Anyway, that cracked me up so hard. So, anyway, you can follow Ross on Instagram. No, not like the one from Friends. I have to read it.
Yep.
I don't have it memorized.
I'm not doing much on the Instagram these days.
You're not doing much on social media at all.
No.
I'm at Overlanding Dad, and you can follow the podcast on Instagram at Off the Road Again Podcast. Sometimes we post pictures that aren't episodes.
Yeah, I need to reacquire the login from you so I can actually post pictures there because that's more exciting than posting my own stuff.
Require me to do some research because I don't remember what it is.
Reset. I forgot password.
I did it over a year ago, so
yeah,
we are closing in on a year of shows.
Yep, that is right.
It helps that we had a pandemic lockdown in the middle of it. What else were we gonna do?
Right. There was one point where we recorded a show on a Saturday at like 3:00. I had been drinking for like 2 hours because I had absolutely nothing else to do.
Which I was just looking at our YouTube analytics. It's one of our most watched podcast episodes.
It has Bronco in the name.
It's got 2021 Bronco in the name. And the other one is the Rivian R1T that we did with Emmy and Rebecca when we figured out that that's what they were driving in the Rebelle.
Wow.
That
pretty
is our most watched episode on YouTube. But
Nice.
anyway, podcast-wise, we're doing great.
Yep. All right. Well,
That's it.
Matt, it's been fun. Thank you again.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for coming on. It is now time for Ross to be a pumpkin.
It is. Yeah, it is. I'm going to click my heels together and hope for not all of the snow.
Well, the next recorded show is with an East Coast guest, so it should be at a reasonable time for you. Did I freeze again?
No, Ross froze.
Yeah, Ross left.
Oh,
He's out. I'm leaving that in. Thanks, Matt.
He's gone.
Exactly. The best part is he'll send me a text in a second and be like, the computer just crashed. Sorry. It happens.
I love
Thank you, Matt.